Udtamagopyadakopabriksham Gopalagadaratitam Yati Singha Gora Govinda Deshikavaram Satatam Namami Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachila Jachiya Dileka Kola Kahe Premananda Hemona Gauranga Hridoya Dariya Bola Bhaja Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Laha Gaurangera Namure Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaje Sehoyamara Pranhare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yashaiva Padambuja Bhakti Labhya Prema Bidana Parama Pumarta Tasmai Jagan Mangala Mangalaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Madgavirapi Gopala Sri Kriyat Kripaya Jari Tadaiva Sambhaya Pitva Risha Yustad Priya Janaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sasanatana Rupaka Gopala Raghunathapta Brajabala Bapahimam Vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, good afternoon dear devotees from Jagannath Puri Dham. Nice to see everybody's here. So in our last session we spoke something about how to find Guru and how the problem is not if there's a bona fide Guru present or not, but the problem is if we're a bona fide disciple or not. Because Krishna is in everyone's heart watching, and he knows what's in our heart, and he knows our desires, and so he correspondingly sends an appropriate person to us. As part of our discussion, we told a story from the Bhakti Ratnakar about Shyamananda Prabhu and Rasik Murari, and how Rasik Murari, how he met his guru. And I'd like to just go back to that briefly. So after the description of their meeting and how he attained his guru, a few verses later, it's described by Narahari Chakravarti. Murari ke pariksha korila Shyamananda, deki Murari chesta hoila Mahananda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Murari ke pariksha korila Shyamananda, deki Murari chesta hoila Mahananda. That after he gave initiation to Rasik Murari, Shyamananda Pariksha, Shyamananda Deki, he was watching Rasik Murari, and his activities gave him great happiness. So this Pariksha, we know Maharaj Parikshit, his name is there because he's the examiner, he's always watching. And so similarly, that's the role of Guru. Guru has many things to offer us, but are we qualified to get it? I remember one lecture Guru Maharaj gave in Bhubaneswar, and afterwards one of our godbrothers went to him and he said, Guru Maharaj, he went to see him privately, he said, Guru Maharaj, I want Prem. You've got to give me Krishna Prem. Just give me Krishna Prem. And Guru Maharaj looked at him and he said, I can give you right now. He said, but you're not qualified to receive it. And then he told him a story. He said, once there was a kaka, a crow, who was very fond of eating bitter melon. And one day that crow found some piece of metal somewhere. And so the crow got a good idea. He took that piece of metal to the blacksmith. My dear sir, would you please make this into a plow? His idea was, and he would take the plow and he would plow the land some and he would plant some bitter melon seeds so he could have as much bitter melon as he wanted to eat. And so the blacksmith started doing that. He was melting that metal and then he poured it into the mold. And the crow by this time had come back and said, so are you finished? I want it now. I want it now. And the blacksmith said, but you can't take it now. You're not qualified. No, give it to me now. I want it now. And so, okay, you can have it. And he gave it to him, and that crow then burned to ashes. So we should understand the importance of pleasing Guru, Yasya Prasadad, Bhagavat Prasadad, Yasya Prasadad, Nagati Katopi. That we get everything by pleasing Guru. But we please Guru, then we'll please Krishna. If we displease Guru, we're displeasing Krishna. So Guru is always watching us to see what we're doing. Srila Prabhupada, in his purport to the first canto, chapter 13, text 37, he says a very interesting thing. That great souls cheat others may be astonishing to know, but it is a fact that great souls cheat others for a great cause. My Guru Maharaj spoke about this on one occasion in Bhubaneswar in 1994, and he said in a lecture, he said, a sadhu has two things, kripa and vanchana, mercy and cheating. Actually, both are kripa, but they are niskapata kripa and sakapata kripa. Mercy with cheating and mercy without cheating and mercy with cheating. What one deserves, one gets. Some deserve kripa, so they get kripa. Some deserve vanchana, so they get vanchana. And a devotee was there at that time, said, so if one is materialistic, then he gets vanchana. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, he will get position, power, name, fame, prestige, and adoration. Vanchana, or cheating. Just like the story about Mohini Murti is given in the 8th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. And there it's described that Mohini Murti appeared after Dhanvantari had come up with the nectar which was churned from the ocean by churning of the milk ocean. And the demigods and demons were all lined up to get this nectar. And so at that time, Mohini Murti completely ignored the demigods. And she was only looking at the demons. And Mohini Murti was quite beautiful. She was so beautiful that even Mahayogi Shivji became attracted to her. Mohini Murti was ignoring the demigods, and she was smiling at the demons, and maybe she was winking at them and whatever, and the demons probably were quarreling with each other. She was smiling at me. No, she was smiling at me. So she was only paying attention to the demons. But meanwhile, behind her back, she was giving all the amrit, all the nectar to the demigods. So in the same way, Sri Guru, sometimes if people come to him for the wrong purpose, seeing that their desire is not really for Krishna or for Krishna Prem, then Sri Guru gives them something else. As Guru Maharaj says here, they get vanchana, they get some kind of cheating. And what is that cheating? They may become a big personality. They may get a big position or something. That's the desire of the demons. They want some big position, but meanwhile, the sincere devotees of Sri Guru, they may not have such a big position. They may not be so well known. I remember there was one godbrother of ours from Bali. I won't say his name, but he was serving during the Padayatra. And he was serving in such a nice way. And Guru Maharaj never paid any attention to him. And then one day I happened to be present in Bhubaneswar, and I was sitting in such a way that Guru Maharaj couldn't see me. And no one was there, just that devotee came to Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj was there. And Guru Maharaj looked around to see if anybody was there. He didn't see anyone. And Guru Maharaj called that devotee over, and Guru Maharaj embraced him. So that's the nature of Sadhu Guru. They test the disciple. So this is a very important subject for us to understand. What is Vanchana and what is Kripa? And as Guru Maharaj commented, that ultimately everything that Sadguru gives is Kripa. But it's not that everybody gets the same kind of thing. It's not that everybody gets the same kind of Kripa. Indeed, in the Gita, Krishna, he finishes the Gita. He says, Mamana Bhavamad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskar. He says, Sarva Dharmam Parityaga. He gives all of his most important instructions. And then, right at the very end of the Gita, he tells Arjuna, Idam te nadapaskaya nabhaktaya kadachana nachashashushave vacham nacha mamyo bisuyati. He said that you don't speak this, Arjuna, don't give this information to someone who has these disqualifications. They're not tapaskaya, not tapasya. They can't do any austerity. Nabhaktaya, someone who's not a devotee, someone who's ashushashave, who's not engaged in service, and someone who's a bisuyati, who's an envious person. Don't give this information to them. You can't do it. So someone may hear Bhagavad Gita, but they can't understand Bhagavad Gita unless we have the mercy of Guru. As we spoke in a few sessions ago, Srila Prabhupada once commented, someone may have read Bhagavad Gita 100 times, they may have read it 1,000 times, but they won't understand a single word unless they've approached Guru. And more specifically, unless someone gets mercy from Guru. Guru Maharaj told one story once that once there was a guru who had an ashram on the bank of the Ganga, and he had a few brahmachari disciples, and that guru was engaging them in different types of devotional service, like cooking and serving prasadam, gardening, cleaning the pots, and taking care of cows and things. And there was one disciple whose name was Govardhan, and his nickname was Gobara. And he had this daily service that he would take a big water pot and go to the Ganga and collect water with it. And he was doing that very sincerely. But after some time, Guru Maharaj said, he started thinking to himself, what am I doing this for? What's in it for me? I'm doing all this hard work. I'm not getting any happiness. Maybe he started having doubts. Maybe I should leave the ashram. I should just go to the big city, get married, a nice, beautiful girl, and I'll just enjoy the rest of my life. So he was thinking about this every day. And finally, one day, when he was sitting on the bank of the Ganga, he just spoke it out loud. He said, why should I keep serving the ashram like this? I'm not getting any benefit. I'm not going to do it anymore. Today, I'm going to go. I'm going to leave. He said that I've heard that all the big cities like Kashi and Prayag are on the bank of the Ganga. Because Gobara, this devotee, Govardhan, he had never been to the big city before, but he'd heard about this. So I thought, if I follow the river bank, then eventually I must reach one of them. So then he filled up that water pot with Ganga water, he put it down, he told the pot, you stay here, I'm going. And then Gobara looked around and make sure nobody's looking. And then he began to slowly sneak away, going toward the south. And he'd only gone a couple meters when suddenly he heard a voice, hey, where are you going? And Gobara became really frightened and startled. And he looked around, but he couldn't see anyone. There was nobody there. So then Gobara started walking again. And the same voice said, hey, where are you going? And so then Gobara said, who's calling? And he couldn't see anyone. He's looking all around. Then he tried to run. And the voice said, hey, Gobara, where are you going? It's me calling you. Your water pot. Come here. Gopra was pretty surprised. He'd never heard a water pot talking to him before. And so then he went back to speak with the water pot. And the water pot started chastising him. Do you really think that your Guru Seva, that leaving your Guru Seva is going to give you any peace and happiness? The result of you doing a Seva will be that you're going to attain life's ultimate goal. And although I'm just a dull water pot, I'm just made out of jada, material matter, I can speak like a human being because my life is successful because of my giving service to a pure devotee of the Lord. So Gopra, his guru, was a very powerful Vaishnava, and Guru Maharaj said that he was making the water pot speak. And the water pot continued his story. He told him that I'm just a water pot. I came from a very muddy, contaminated place, and one day some man collected me, took me to his house, and then he began to press me heavily with his feet. He then formed me into this water pot shape. He let me dry, and then he put me in a heavy fire. And finally, he after I dried out after the fire, then he picked me up and he flicked me with his finger to see if I had the right sound. Ting! So I passed his test, and he took me to the market to sell me. And very fortunately, I was purchased by this sadhu engaged in his service. And the result is that my life is successful, and now I can speak with you directly. Don't think that your Guru Seva will be easy. But if you engage in this Seva, then your life will be successful like mine. And you'll get real happiness, real pleasure. But if you leave this Seva, then you're just going to have to cry and cry. And instead of happiness, you're going to get so much pain and anxiety. So when Gopra heard this, he started shaking. And somehow he managed to carry that pot of water back to the ashram. And he fell down flat, offering his dandavats before his guru. And his guru, who was Dibya Drista, he could see the past, present, and future. And he asked Gopra, "Hey Gopra, what happened to you?" And Gopra bowed his head and he said, "Guru Maharaj." And he told him about the whole story, and this water pot started speaking to me. And then Gopra started crying when he revealed about how he was planning on leaving his Guru's Seva. And his Guru then told him, "Hey, Are Baba, it wasn't the water pot speaking to you. I was speaking through that water pot." So just as we hear in Bhakti Ratnakar that it wasn't over when Rasikananda Prabhu came to Shyamananda, rather that was the beginning. When we take initiation, we initiate something. And just as Rasikananda took initiation from Shyamananda, and it wasn't over at that time, Shyamananda they began to do parikya. He began to watch him very carefully. In the Gita, in the second chapter, is a very famous verse where Arjuna, he speaks to Krishna. Karpanya doso pahata swabhava prichchami tvam dharma samuda chetaha yat shrehasyanishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapanam. He said that because I this miserly weakness of this karpanya, this dosha, I have this fault. I don't know what is right and what is wrong. So I'm asking you, yet shreha you tell me what is right and what's wrong. Now shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapanam. I'm a disciple, I'm surrendered to you. Please instruct me. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his Artha Varshini commentary on this verse, he presents a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And he says that after Arjuna speaks like this to him, I mean, it's a big thing to say, right? Arjuna surrendering to Krishna. Then Krishna replied in a very funny way. I saw a similar thing, actually. In New York City in 1994, I was there with Guru Maharaj, and I was helping to serve him. We had a hotel room we'd rented for him. And there was one new bhakta who requested to meet with Guru Maharaj. And he came to see Guru Maharaj, and I could see that it was a very big thing. He was very, very nervous. And I could see something that he planned out in his mind, and he was stammering, he was kind of shaking, he was very afraid. He said, "Maharaj, will you please accept me as your disciple?" And Guru Maharaj looked at him and said, "No." He said, and then and the devotee then was really confused because he wasn't expecting Guru Maharaj was going to say that. And the devotee said, well, I don't understand. And Guru Maharaj said, no, you like Sanskrit. So you should take initiation from some other personality who likes Sanskrit. And that made him even more confused. And he began stammering even further. He said, I don't understand. What do you mean? And then Guru Maharaj said, okay, you don't like what I said, so I take it back. And the devotee became even more confused. It was like something short-circuited in his brain. And he said, I don't understand. And I spoke up at that time. I said, Guru Maharaj takes it back. He sees that you don't like what he said, so he takes it back. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, you did not like that. And that devotee, his eyes are so big. Anyway, to get to the quick of the story, so to speak, skinny of the story, that devotee finally took initiation from Guru Maharaj, but not before Guru Maharaj severely tested him to see, why are you coming to me? Are you just coming to me for some information because you like Sanskrit? Or are you coming to me because you want to take shelter? So similarly, Arjun, he surrendered to Krishna, and he's made his big speech. It's a big speech when we finally come to Guru. I came to my Guru in 1993, and I said, Guru Maharaj, please accept me. I said, I'm just a beast, but let me become your beast. And Guru Maharaj very kindly accepted me. It's a big speech I put in my mind. So Arjun, no, that's a big speech in his mind. Sishyasthe ham sadi mam tvam prapanam. Now, please, I'm your disciple. I'm surrendered to you. Now, please give me instruction. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna looked at him, and Krishna said, Nanu tarhi supapadi kam shastartam tvam evra bruhana chatriyo bhutva bhikshatanam nischiniso taryalam modukteti traha karpanyeti. He said, you're coming, although you're a Kshatriya, you're deciding to become a beggar. Kshatriyo bhutva bhikshatanam. You're deciding to become a bhikshata. So you're coming and you're telling me all about Shastra. Nanu tarhi sapati kam shastrartam. You're coming and telling me about Shastra. And although you're a Kshatriya, you decided to become a beggar. So what's the use of me saying anything to you? And then Arjun became confused, like this new bhakta became confused with Guru Maharaj. And he said, my intelligence is bewildered. I don't know what is proper dharma. Dharmasya sukshma gati. Vishwanath quotes Mahabharata that the path of dharma is very, very subtle. Dharmasya sukshma gati. So you should decide and you should tell me. And then Krishna, Vishwanath says, replied to Arjun. And Krishna said, Nanu madvachas tvam pandata manitvena kandayasi chet katambruyam. But, my dear Arjun, you're defeating all my words by posing yourself as very learned. So, katambruyam, how can I say anything? And then Arjun bowed his head. Tatraha shishyasteham asmi. I'm your student. Natam parambritta kandayamiti bhava. I am no longer going to uselessly try to quarrel with you. So Guru will give a test. And just as a test in school, the test is there. Sometimes the devotees, they become frustrated during the test of Guru and they want to go to Guru. Once one devotee asked Guru Maharaj a question, and Guru Maharaj looked at him and said, I'm not going to tell you. And that devotee became very confused. And then I asked a question. I said, Guru Maharaj, does the Guru have to answer all the questions from the disciple? And Guru Maharaj looked a little pleased, I think, and he said, no, very strongly. So just like during a test in school, the teacher is always quiet during the test. You can ask so many questions of the teacher throughout the year. You can ask for help in different ways. But during the test, you're on your own. And so similarly, sometimes devotees, they look, where is Gurudev? I'm suffering. My wife left me. My husband left me. I have this problem. I don't know what to do. Where is Gurudev? But during the test, the teacher is always quiet. And we should understand, Guru Maharaj used to say that Guru will severely test you. In January 1994, Guru Maharaj laid the foundation stone for the Gopal Mandir in Bhubaneswar, and he installed the deity of Ananta Sesh. And at that time he gave a lecture. He spoke to the devotees who were there, but he also spoke to the laborers and construction workers who were there, and they were beginning to work on the new temple there. And he told them a story. He said, with the help of these two rishis, Bhrigu and Bharadvaj, Agastya Muni once built a huge temple for Krishna at Kalahasti in Rajasthan. And there were many laborers engaged to build that temple. And Bhrigu and Bharadvaj were watching over, and they were supervising those laborers, just like in India, right? When some construction work is going on, you see some guy with some Levi's jeans or something who's not doing anything. He's just standing around watching everybody. Otherwise, all the workers would just go to sleep or sit down and eat or something. So those laborers, they're working hard from early morning to sunset. And then every day, just before sunset, Agastya Muni, he would sit on the bank of a nearby river and he'd call all the laborers. And then on his order, Bhrigu Muni and Bharadvaj would give a handful of sand to each laborer. That was their payment for the whole day's work. But when the rishis gave that sand, it turned into gold. According to the degree how hard the laborer was working, he received a proportionate amount of gold. So if someone was working very little, they only got a small amount. And if someone wasn't working at all, they were just cheating and just putting on a show, then they would only find sand in their hands and not gold. And Guru Maharaj said in the story, he said there was no partiality and there was no complaints in their dealings. That everything took place before the Lord. He's a supreme witness. So Guru Maharaj then, he told all those workers, he says, this, Krishna is watching you in your heart. This is Gopal's work. So don't be duplicitous. And Gopal, he'll reward you. But people who are very casual, have a very casual relationship, they think that initiation is the end of everything. Because now I've been part of the IYF for so long, and they're just calling me Bhakta Rakesh. And I'm really tired of being called Bhakta Rakesh. It's not good. I want to get initiated. And when I get initiated, everybody's going to give me respect. And if I take second initiation and I have a paita, then it's very good. Then I'll get the Mahaprasad. They're thinking like that. But they don't understand that you can't cheat Guru. You can't just get something that you don't deserve. Once there was a man who approached Sadhu Guru, and he was desiring some instruction from him. And he said, Maharaj, please tell me, what is the absolute truth? And that sadhu told him, you are a servant of Krishna. And when the man heard that, he said, is that all? Nah, this is not good. This isn't the best thing. He wasn't very satisfied. So he went to some other sadhu, and he also asked him, please, Maharaj, please tell me, what is the purpose of life? Who am I? What should I do? And that sadhu could understand the condition of that man. And he said, well, I can tell you, but first you have to work very hard before I'm going to instruct you. And that man said, yes, Maharaj, whatever you tell me, I'll do. Okay? So you have to shovel gobar, cow dung, for 12 years. And he gave the man a shovel. And so for 12 years, that man was shoveling cow dung. And then after 12 years, that sadhu called the man and told him, you're a servant of Krishna. The same thing the other sadhu immediately told him. And that disciple then immediately realized his nature as a servant of the Lord. So both instructions are the same. But what's the difference in this story? The difference is that in the first person, that prospective disciple didn't have qualification. He gave him, the instruction was the same, you're a servant of Krishna. But because he wasn't qualified, he didn't have faith in the first person, he couldn't appreciate that. And so he went to the second sadhu, and the second sadhu was ready, understood the same exact instruction. But the second sadhu, seeing the condition of the man, said, no, first you have to work really hard. You have to test him. You have to work. There's another story I like very much, that there was one young boy who was, his father was a thief, a chore. And the boy noticed that his father was getting old. And so then the boy one day said, my dear father, please teach me how to be a thief, so that when you're going to retire soon, you're getting old, then I can carry on the family tradition. And the father just kind of nodded his head and told him, anyway, you come with me tonight. Okay? And so he took that boy with him, and they broke into someone's house. And when they broke into the house, the father opened up a closet and told his son very quietly, go inside and see what's inside the closet. So then the boy went inside the closet, and then immediately the father slammed the door shut and bolted it very loudly on the outside. And then the father slipped away quietly. So inside the closet, the boy, you can imagine, he was very afraid. He was also very angry. He's confused. What am I going to do? Huh? And meanwhile, people were waking up, and what is that noise? Is there some thief here, some chore? So then the boy got some idea, and he started making this sound. Meow, meow, like a cat. Uh-huh. And then the servant lit a candle. He opened the closet. Oh, the cat was just a cat. Let the cat out. And so as soon as he opened the door, then the boy jumped out and started running. And then the people in the house saw, hey, he's a thief. And so they all went running after him. And so the boy was running ahead, and he saw a well by the road. So the boy picked up a big stone, threw the stone in the well, and hid in the shadows. And then when the people came, they heard that big splash. They thought, oh, maybe he fell in the water, and they were looking down there hoping to see him drown. And then the boy snuck away. And he went back home. And the boy, by the time he got home, he forgot all about his anger with his father, because he was really eager. He wanted to tell this story. But his father said, what are you telling me this for? You're here? That's enough? Now you've learned the trade. Now that's the test. So Guru will severely test the disciple. And we should understand that. It's not just that we should come to Guru for some ecclesiastical purpose. It's a big English word, which Jiva Goswami says something to this effect in Bhakti Sandarbha, that we shouldn't go to Guru just for some social purpose, or just to get some glory or some respect or something. But Guru will test us, because if he doesn't test us, how does he know what our qualification is to receive the valuable thing that he has? And if there's someone who doesn't want to be tested, if there's someone who becomes angry if Guru chastises them, then what can that person learn? What can that person get? So Arjun, he's quoting Shastra to Krishna. How can I do this thing? If I fight against the enemy, then the ladies, they won't be protected, and some wrong progeny will come to the family. This is very, very sinful. And he's speaking, he's preaching to Krishna like this. So Krishna therefore tells him, you're not qualified for this. I'm not qualified to speak to you because you know so much Shastra. So when we come to Guru, we should come to Guru in the same way that Sanatana Goswami came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said that I don't even know who I am. You please tell me. I don't even know who I am or what I am. And he's supposed to be a big, big scholar. Sanatana Goswami was highly respected as one of the biggest scholars in Bengal. But he came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he said that I'm a fool. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. Similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came to his guru, he said the same thing. I'm a murkha, I'm a fool. I don't know what is right and what is wrong. Kayami, Sanatana Goswami said, Kayami, please tell me who I am. So we should come in a similar way before Guru. In the Nimbarka Sampradaya, there's one devotee. His name was Katya Baba. He's not in our line. Katya Baba was someone who's famous. He lived like 100 years or so ago. He's famous as being a person who re-inaugurated the Brajmandal Parikrama. And there's an interesting story about him. His guru's name was Devadas. And Devadas, he told Katya Baba that I want you to we're going to do Brajmandal Parikrama, and I want you to organize everything. And Katya Baba was a very good servant of his guru. He said, yes, Guru Maharaj, I'll do. And he was working very, very hard. And because of his sincerity and his hard work, Devadas was very pleased with him. And he gave him a lot of position. He told everybody, Katya, he's in charge of things. You listen to what he has to say and that. But the result was that some of the devotees became envious of Katya Baba, and they began speaking amongst themselves. And so the guru saw that, and Devadas didn't say anything. But one evening, when all the devotees were gathered on the fire, Devadas called for Katya. Hey! Come here. And he had an iron bar stuck in the fire. And he called Katya over, and he took that iron bar, it was red hot, and he started beating Katya with his bar. Budmas, rascal, nonsense, acting like you're a big man, trying to impress everybody. And Katya Baba was just taking that abuse from his guru. And all the God brothers, they were nodding their heads and looking at each other, saying, see, I told you, this guy is just completely bogus. And now Guru Maharaj has come out and shown that. And so he beat Katya Baba like that. A few years later, Devadas was getting ready to leave his body. He was very sick and old. And at that time, he called for Katya. And when Katya came before him and bowed down, and yes, Guru Maharaj would... And he embraced Katya and he told him, I always loved you. But I saw that the devotees were envious of you. And I wanted to test you to prove your position, your qualification, that even though I abused you in this way, you didn't argue back. So that's the nature of Guru. I can say on my own accord, I don't usually tell stories about Guru Maharaj, depending on who we're speaking with, but because I feel a little more intimate with all of you and you appreciate Guru Maharaj something, I'll tell you a couple personal stories that I had with Guru Maharaj about this nature of cheating. Before I came to Guru Maharaj, as I mentioned in our last session, I was initiated already, and I had been a temple president, I'd been head pujari. In fact, I'd done a lot of deity worship. I was giving classes in deity worship. Even doing deity installations sometimes. And Guru Maharaj, when I came to him, he gave me initiation, and the first service that he gave me, he told me to install the deities of Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu, my god brother. I just got initiated like 3 or 4 days before that, reinitiated by Guru Maharaj. So I did that ceremony, and afterwards Sachinandan Prabhu, our god brother, who was Guru Maharaj's servant at that time, came to me and said, Guru Maharaj wants to speak to you in his room. I said, yes, and I went in. This was in America. And I came in, and Guru Maharaj looked up, and he said, so, I want you to come to Bhubaneswar and install the deities of Radha Gopinath. And I was shocked. I just gotten initiated. I'd never been to Bhubaneswar. And I didn't know what to say or do. I fell down on the ground, and I said, Guru Maharaj, I'm just a new devotee. I don't know anything, and I'm just a new disciple. I don't know Sanskrit properly. I don't know Bengali. I barely know English. How can I? Guru Maharaj said, no, I will empower you to do this. Yes, Guru Maharaj. And so I came to Bhubaneswar, and Guru Maharaj, the first service he gave me in Bhubaneswar was to do the Shringar, the dressing for Lord Jagannath in the morning and evenings. And I was there, and the deity installation for Radha Gopinath was going to take place in about a year. And I was always feeling very inadequate to do that service. And so when Guru Maharaj made some announcement that he was going to go to Africa to give classes, I had an idea. And I went to see him privately in his room. And I said, Guru Maharaj, you told me to do this thing, to install the deities, and how can I do this thing? And so I have this idea. My idea is that I would go to South India, and Banu Maharaj, he knows a lot about worship and things, and I'll study under Banu Maharaj and maybe some local pundits there where he's at, and so that I can have some qualification to do this service. And Guru Maharaj nodded his head and said, yes, very good idea, you do that. And so then I walked out of the hut and I was very happy. And yes, Guru Maharaj told me to do this thing. And all of a sudden then, I remembered Guru Maharaj's comment that he sometimes made, that when you go to Guru, you don't tell him what you want, you ask him what he wants. So then I was a little confused. I thought, Guru Maharaj told me this, it's a really nice instruction, but did he tell me this because I want to hear it? Or did he tell me this because he wants it? And if he wants it, or if he doesn't want it, how do I know? If I go back in, if he cheated me, and I go back and ask him again, then maybe he'll cheat me again. So I thought for a minute. And then after thinking a little bit, I went back inside. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, what is it? And I said, Guru Maharaj, I was thinking about it and I can't go to South India. And Guru Maharaj looked a little surprised. He said, why not? I said, well, Guru Maharaj, I don't think it's what you want. And I just want to do whatever pleases you. And then Guru Maharaj, he had a kind of look sometimes he would give. He sat back and gave a very kind of grave look at me and shook his head and said, very good. So you stay here and do your service to Lord Jagannath. So we should understand that Guru will always test us. And we should be ready for that. But if we're just someone who's just coming for a good time, someone just coming to advertise that, oh, I'm very close with Guru Dev, then how are we going to get the proper thing? So we all have to be ready to be tested by Guru. And if we want to argue with Guru, if we don't want to accept his instruction, then how will we make any advancement? In the Bhagavatam also, there's a story of the Avanti Brahman and how he was a businessman who had been making a lot of money. And in the course of his work, he had a lot of enemies. And he was a very miserly person. And finally, at the end of his life, he became disgusted with his miserliness and his nature of his life. And he decided that I want to dedicate my life to God. I want to make my life perfect. So I went to a sadhu and begged for initiation, shelter from him. And the sadhu gave him initiation. And then that Avanti Brahman then asked him, so Guru Maharaj, what service can I do for you? And his Guru Maharaj told him, I want you to go back to your village and go door to door and beg from door to door. And that disciple, thinking about how everybody in the village hated him, he said, Guru Maharaj, I really don't think it's a good idea. I'm not very popular there. I won't be able to collect very much. It's better if I go to some other place and I can beg there, and then I can collect a whole lot for you, and I'll come and give that to you. And his Guru Maharaj said, no. You go back to your village and you beg. Yes, Guru Maharaj. And so he went and he would knock on the doors and people would answer the door, and he had some straw in his teeth. There's a tradition we find sometimes find also in Orissa. And he would stand there and beg for something, and the people, so many of them became furious. Fellow, you cheated me so many times, and now it's not enough that you're cheating me. You're coming dressed like a sadhu? Get out of here, go! And he shouted at him, go away. And he went the whole day, went to every house in the village, and nobody gave him anything. So at the end of the day, went back to his guru. Guru Maharaj, it wasn't a very good collection today. It was really difficult. And his Guru Maharaj said, good. So tomorrow I want you to go back there again. And the disciple, it was bad enough today. He said, Guru Maharaj, Really? I don't think that's a good idea. No, no, you go. Yes, Guru Maharaj. And so the next day, again, he went and knocked on the doors of the same people. And only this time, they became even more. And people at him. And someone threatened to beat him. And the whole day went by with nothing other than harsh abuse from the homes of all the people that he went to. And then finally, at the end of the day, again, he went back to his guru and says, Guru said, so, what did you collect? Guru Maharaj, I went the whole day and they just abused me. One person spit in my face. I've never had anyone spit in my face in my whole life. Everybody always gave me respect, but he spit in my face. And his Guru Maharaj said, good, very good. So tomorrow, go back there again. And the disciple, he's made to cry. Yes, Guru Maharaj, I'll go. And so this went on for some time, and every day his guru was sending him back. And then after some time,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, your voice is breaking.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's our internet connection, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. There's nothing I can do. It's our internet connection. Is it better now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So every day the guru was sending a disciple back to beg alms. And every day people were abusing him. And then finally, after this went on for some time, the people thought, actually, he's really a sadhu. I abused him so much yesterday. But see, he's come, and he's being so humble. He's just tolerating all this. Let me give him something. And so that day, practically every house he went to, people were giving him nice donations. And at the end of the day, he went back to see his guru, and his guru said, so how did it go today? And he said, Guru Maharaj, it went really good. Everybody gave something. His guru told him, very good, don't go back there again. So that's the nature of guru and disciple. If we want an easygoing life, then maybe you can try to find a guru who's like that. A guru who's going to flatter you and speak nice things to you. But sadhu, the word sadhu means someone who cuts. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that that's the nature of sadhu. He speaks in a very, very harsh way. And he does that to take away the material desires and attachments of that disciple. If he speaks in a way to flatter us, then that sadhu will become our enemy. I'll tell you one more personal story of Guru Maharaj. I traveled with Guru Maharaj in 1994 as his personal servant for about, 30 days or so. And I'm not a particularly austere person. But during that time, the most I slept was 5 hours, and that was because I was sick, and Guru Maharaj insisted that I sleep more. Otherwise, my average take of sleep of the night was 3 hours, because that's about how much Guru Maharaj was sleeping. And when he would get up, I would jump up and be ready to serve him and things. And there were 2 nights during that month I didn't sleep at all. The Guru Maharaj didn't. I was really tired. Like, I've never been that tired in my life. And during that journey, when we were in France, we went to visit Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. We gave Guru Maharaj 2 big jars of honey. And they were very fragile. This is before 9/11 in America, and the rules were quite different on the planes. So I was carrying those as Guru Maharaj's servant in a shoulder bag wherever we would go. And then we came back to India, and we flew from Heathrow Airport in London to Delhi. And the whole way, I didn't sleep. And we arrived in Delhi, and I was really, really tired. We got on a connecting flight then from Delhi to Bhubaneswar. And when we got on the flight, I had Guru Maharaj on my arm. I was holding him my arm. I was walking with him. I had these 2 jars of honey in my bag. And everybody was pushing and shoving on the Indian plane. It wasn't like being in Europe or something. And we got to our seat, and the situation was different than it had been the whole time we traveled. And I saw that there was Guru Maharaj would generally sit on the inside, and have me sit on the outside, and so that if he had to go to the toilet, I would get up and walk, and he would walk on my arm. He'd hold my arm, and I would take him to the bathroom like that. So Guru Maharaj would sit in the inside seat, I would sit on the outside. But this time there were 3 seats, and sitting by the window was a young girl. And so Guru Maharaj would have to sit next to her. And I didn't know what to do. I was confused. I hadn't slept in a whole month, the whole night. I was really tired. I had these 2 jars of honey in my shoulder, and Guru Maharaj in my arm, and everybody's pushing and shoving on the plane. And I just hesitated for a moment. That's all that I did. And Guru Maharaj started shouting really loud. Everybody on the whole plane, they stopped and they were staring at us. And Guru Maharaj was shouting at me, "Ha! Idiot! Ha!" And like that. And Guru Maharaj shoved me into the seat next to the girl. And I have to tell you very honestly, when Guru Maharaj did that for one moment, I thought, that's not fair. Why should he do like that to me? I don't deserve that. It's an honest question. But then I caught myself. No, Guru Maharaj is testing me. This is good. However he wants to treat me, that I'm his animal, I'm his beast. And so I sat down next to the young girl, and Guru Maharaj sat down on the outside. So we should be prepared. And you should know this. In IYF, I'm sure that Tukaram Prabhu and Amritesh Gaur Prabhu and the others, they tell you many times probably, just chant, dance, and be happy, Prabhus. Just take prasadam. Everything in Krishna consciousness is so nice, is so wonderful. but Bhakti Rasayan Sagar Maharaj was saying the other day, that was what Srila Prabhupada was telling all the devotees until they got initiated. And then he posted a note on the door, for all initiated disciples, they must follow 4 rules. And it was a big test. And a lot of the devotees, some of the devotees, they left at that time. No, this is too much, I can't do this. So it's very nice. We come to Krishna consciousness, we come to the temple, we come to IYF, and it's so much fun. I saw you guys have a lot of fun. It's really beautiful. I like that. But sometimes we think that it's all about fun. And if I take initiation, then it's also going to be fun. And it's going to be even better, because then maybe I'll become the IYF director in the future. Maybe I'll get some big position. People will give lots of respect to me, and that's why you get initiated, right? And then we come to find out that Gurudev wants us to go downtown to sell books in the hot sun or something. And we, oh my gosh, this is not good. Or Gurudev chastises us in front of everyone. Don't be a casual devotee. Don't be a good weather. We have a saying in America, good weather friend. Someone is your friend when the weather's good, but as soon as the weather is bad, then he's no longer your friend. We come to Guru expecting chastisement. That person who accepts sasan or chastisement, that person is a sishya, is a disciple. And if we can't accept chastisement, then what kind of disciple are we? So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And I'd like to just ask if any of the devotees have any reflections or anything you heard that struck you, or any questions or anything. Maybe Tukaram Prabhu, anything from you, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu, it reminded like once when I was in Bhubaneswar. So, like after 2 years of my stay in Bhubaneswar, so I had certain kind of difficulties. So I wrote to Guru Maharaj. So he said that he'll give me a call. So he called me that, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay or do you want to go back? So I said that you decide. So he said, okay, I'll decide. So then Guru Maharaj came to Bhubaneswar. So I thought that he'll be asking me certain questions. And when he'll be telling me this and I'll be giving this answer, he'll be telling me this, I'll be giving this answer. So I was making my plans and I'll argue like this. But then Guru Maharaj came and he said, you stay in Bhubaneswar. So everything finished. I said, okay. So,
we're very, very grateful. I said it so many times. I feel very grateful to Bhakti Charan Maharaj for sending you to Tukaram Prabhu. You've really made such a wonderful difference in so many devotees. Amritesh Prabhu has his hand up. Let's see.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful session, filled with all your memories and realizations. It is so blissful to hear all those pastimes, like how a disciple should be in front of Guru Maharaj. Actually, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj is always very kind. Even if he would chastise somebody, he would call them and he would personally also meet and pacify the disciple. But I know how hard it would have been when you were personally with Guru Maharaj, means Guru Govinda Maharaj, I'm saying. So, in that way, I can understand that seeing our fallen nature, means His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj would call us personally in case some chastisement would have happened. And I like this point about all the stories, especially how Guru tests your last example of sitting beside the girl, and how the Guru Seva is important and Guru wants it, and that water pot example of carrying Ganges, that water pot speaks out, and also that example that we should do what Guru wants. Like you thought of bringing Bhanu Maharaj for the installation ceremony, but you again went and Guru Maharaj told that no, I want you only do. So what Guru wants, that is the ultimate thing. The same way I wrote an email to Guru Maharaj, and that time I had not joined. I was about to join. I told Guru Maharaj, where should I go? I don't know. You had told me that you asked me and he will tell me, he told. So then when I asked Maharaj, Maharaj, I had written on my own that Maharaj, I think that if I go for a training to Ujjain first, it will be good because I have heard good name about Ujjain. So let me go to Ujjain for the training, and then wherever you will tell, I'll go there. I wrote like that. But when I went near Maharaj, uh, I thought that no, that's not a good idea. Uh, I should not tell that I want to go to Ujjain also. I just told that Maharaj, my ultimate decision is that whatever you say, I will do that. So then Maharaj told that no, you don't need to go to Ujjain, you directly go to Bhubaneswar. That's what he told me. And I have a couple of questions, if you permit, I will
Yeah.
ask. Okay. So sometimes Guru Maharaj chastises, and as you said, we should just tolerate them. I know what a difficult situation that would be. I have never heard as such any direct chastisement, big manner, facial manner. I have seen sometimes, but not in words. I just want to ask that if some chastisement happens to us, and if a devotee is serious, he may feel bad. But if a devotee is very casual, like in a class, there are some naughty students. So even if teacher chastises them, it doesn't matter for them. They are same casual only. So when we should tolerate it, do we need to be that kind of tolerant, or how should we tolerate when Guru Maharaj chastises us? In what mode we receive it?
Well, whatever mode of nature that we're in, whatever qualification we have, in other words, we'll receive it in that way. And we can't change it. We can try to act, yes, Guru Maharaj, yes, I'm very humble. But maybe we're not really accepting it on the inside. We can't cheat him like that. So there's a saying in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami describes dukkha trasa parada dyara anorjitam dadinata, that there's three causes of dinata, or humility, dainya. Dukkha, when we become unhappy; tras, when we become afraid; and aparada dyara, when we have the sense that I committed some offense. So that's real. And then we can become humble. And that humility is what will help us to accept the instruction from Guru. Otherwise, we may quarrel with Gurudev. No, Maharaj, you said I should do this, but really it's not a good idea. I would be better, as a manager than going out and working hard and digging holes in the ground or something. I'm better for this thing. Huh? Who was it that was telling us that story? Somebody was, I don't know where it was at. Somebody was said that was it Radhanath Maharaj, that there was one devotee who joined at the same time as them, I thought maybe it was one of our IYF classes recently. Someone can say. It was a nice story. I'm trying to remember the details. And he said that there was one young man who joined the Bhakti program same time as him, and they were washing the pots together. And that new man was very, very upset. And he was telling him all the time, what is this? They're making me wash pots. I'm a qualified person. I should be giving lectures and things. They don't understand my position. Here I am just washing pots, making chapatis. That's what he was saying. Here I am just making chapatis, and I'm a qualified person. You remember this story?
No, I don't know.
Okay, it was somewhere else. I heard it then. But here I am just making chapatis. And after some time, finally, he got disgusted and he left. I'm not going to stay here in the ashram. They don't appreciate me. I'm just making chapatis and washing pots. And he left. And like 20 years later, that devotee, this was, I remember now, it was Gauranga Prabhu, a lecture that he gave. And 20 years later, Gauranga met that same man that he was in the ashram with. And the man, he said, how are you doing? And he said, well, after I left the ashram, I got married. And now my wife got really sick. And so I'm making chapatis and washing dishes all the time. That's the same thing. Okay. Anything else, Amitesh Prabhu?
Okay, I have some more questions. Should I go ahead or anybody else has some? Okay, let me go ahead. Nobody's there, I think. And when actually Guru Maharaj tests us when he is physically present, but even after his physical disappearance, does he test us? And in what manner would he test us?
After Guru Maharaj left this world, we were very confused. And we didn't know what to do, who to take shelter of, where to go. It was a very hard time for us, for myself and a number of my godbrothers. And we decided to go to take advice from Sadhu, one of Prabhupada's godbrothers, Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, who passed away some years ago. And we went to see him, and we said, Maharaj, we don't know what to do. Our Gurudev just left this world. What should we do? And Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj looked at us, and he told us then, he said, don't think that your Guru has left this world. Rather, you should think that he's just in the bushes. He's hiding and watching you to see what you're going to do now. Just in the same way that Rasikananda came to Shyamananda, but Shyamananda was watching him afterwards. And Gurudev will always watch the disciple. And when Gurudev is present, there's two types of seva, hoitaki seva and ahoitaki seva, or service with motivation and service without motivation. When Gurudev is present, our motivation, we may have some motivation, maybe hoitaki seva, because Gurudev's going to pat me on the head, he's going to give me a big position, this or that. But after Gurudev leaves, that's really a hoitaki seva. That nobody's going to appreciate, nobody's going to know. After Guru Maharaj left this world, so many of my godbrothers left their service, especially the Western devotees, left. And they went here and there. And one day, one of my godbrothers who had left came back to Bhubaneswar, and he started preaching to me. And he said, Madhavananda, what are you doing here? You don't have sadhu sangha? You should come with us to Vrindavan. And there's such a nice sadhu there. And I listened to him, and I appreciated that he was being caring for me. But I told him, I said, Prabhuji, I said, can you look me in the eye and tell me that if I go there, that my service to Gurudev will continue? Because so many of our godbrothers went there and they stopped doing their service. And Guru Maharaj gave me this service. He was depending on me. He told me to make this magazine. The very last lecture Guru Maharaj gave, it was in Bhubaneswar, Nityananda Trayodasi. And in that lecture, he spoke something about myself. And he told me that I should continue always to do this magazine. So I told the devotee, how can I stop? And I said, I know I need sadhu sangha, but I have faith that Guru Maharaj wants me to have sadhu sangha more than I do. But if I displease Gurudev, if I neglect his instructions and I just go away, why will he send me a sadhu? But if I show that I'm very focused on his instructions, then he'll take care of me. So have faith like that. I wanted to speak more about this later in a whole session about after the disappearance of Sri Guru. In Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one article in Sajjana Toshini, he says that after Guru has disappeared, some people think, they don't even want to say it because it's such a terrible thing, but they think that Gurudev's dead. He's dead. He's not present. I can't contact him. It's such a terrible thing. They can't even say it, but that's what they're thinking. And Bhaktivinoda says, your Guru's not dead. You're dead. He says, Man Murabhav, you're brain dead. Your brain is dead because you think that your Guru is an ordinary material person. So it's a great test. And we should have faith in that. But how can we pass that test? By good association. If we associate with devotees who are sincere, and they understand that Gurudev is still present, then we'll receive his instructions one way or another. Gurudev is always there looking out for us, and he'll care for you. You have faith in that, Prabhuji. You have strong faith in that.
Prabhuji, thank you. I want to add one thing. Once I was discussing with Premananda Prabhu, and I saw that a couple of devotees wanted to go for the Vyas Puja ceremony the year in 2019 to Ujjain, and the devotees were really eager to go. And then I was asking that, Prabhuji, why don't you allow them to go? They have so much of interest to go, and if you don't allow them, they won't feel good. Actually, they were not so serious. I was feeling that they are desiring to go. Then Prabhuji told me, you see, that's okay, they can go, but if there is some service Guru Maharaj has assigned you here, so do you think if you go there for getting his Bapu association, Guru Maharaj will be pleased? If Guru Maharaj has assigned you some service here, and if you are not doing that service here and you want to go and take Bapu association of Guru Maharaj, will that please Guru Maharaj? Because Guru Maharaj Bani says that you should do this service. Then how do you override that and think that you should go and take his association personally? And that he was telling me. Okay, that answers. Prabhuji, one last question. It is very silly one. Sorry. Can I go ahead?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Prabhuji, that question is that I want to ask in what is going on in ISKCON. In general, the process of initiation in ISKCON is the temple sends a recommendation, and then the Guru Maharaj has a meeting with those devotees who are going to get initiated. And in general, if they are following the regulative principles and chanting and serving in the temple, local temple, then he or she gets initiated. So then, like here, how we did not see the process that Guru tested. It does not happen in general in ISKCON. So how does it require for a Guru also to test, or it depends on that particular Guru only who wants to test?
In Hari Bhakti Vilas and in Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, many different literatures, it's recommended that the Guru tests a disciple for 1 or 2 years, and some of the disciples should also test the Guru. Once I asked Guru Maharaj a question, we've been talking and we had some faith in Guru Maharaj, and devotees are saying, well, Guru Maharaj can see your Swarup and things. And I asked Guru Maharaj that, can the Guru see the Swarup of the disciple? And he said, yes. And I said, well, Guru Maharaj, how does that work? I mean, like when you're walking through the marketplace, can you just, the Guru just sadhu sees everybody and sees, well, this person is a peacock in the spiritual world, this person's a gopi, this person's a cowherd, but how does it work? And Guru Maharaj said, no. He laughed. He said, it's not like that. He said, after the disciple comes close to the Guru. So that's what we want. We want to come close to Guru. We don't want to become Guru Bhogi, which is someone who tries to enjoy the Guru. And I can tell you honestly, you're speaking about the Vyas Puja program. I'm sorry to say this because I don't like to spoil the party. But a lot of these programs are just kind of like parties for the disciples. And they're having a good time and they're with their friends and we're enjoying Gurudev and we get some nice cake and nice prasadam and it's a big festival. But is it really for Gurudev's pleasure? Srila Prabhupada wrote one Vyas Puja offering for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and he said that the real Vyas Puja program, festival, it's not just an offering of fruits and flowers, but it means to meditate on the instructions of the Guru and to come together with the disciples and speak about how to best accomplish the mission and the desire of Gurudev. That's a real Vyas Puja program, according to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Amritesh Prabhu. Anybody else have anything?
Pranam.
I'm Pranam Prabhuji.
I have a question that as a neophyte devotee or something, I've connected for 1 year. I'm doing services under the guidance of Tukaram Prabhu. I could not keep always myself pure. But purity is always maintained with service. But we can continue service without purity, because as Bhakti Rasayan Sagar Maharaj in the class yesterday, he said, day before yesterday, he said that at first Srila Prabhupada didn't instruct his disciples about the 4 regulative principles, and then he gives some services. After some service, they have been convinced, or they have been fixed up that you have said that the first qualification is qualification and faith, then instruction. You have said in the class, you have said the first qualification and then instruction. So by doing service, does the purity comes directly or what?
Yes.
First service.
Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, idam te nadapaska, in a bhakti in the kadach, nachasha shushave vacham, nachasha shushave vacham. Don't speak this to someone who's not inclined to do service. If someone can't do service, don't speak this to them. They can't understand it. It's a confidential thing. What do we want from Guru? What do we want from IYF? What do we want from ISKCON? We're not just going there just to get some institutional position or just to be part of a member of a club or something. But we're going there because we want to please Guru. We want Krishna. We want to get Krishna prem. We want to understand Krishna. We want to make our life perfect. So we're going to be tested. And that test means, are we willing to do service? So if someone's not willing to do service, they have no qualification. And on the other side, if someone does service and we're humble with that service, and we're really trying with that service, that's our qualification. Chandramauli Maharaj told a story a few sessions back for the IYF devotees, which I've heard several times in a little different way. I'll tell the same story, but according to the way I've heard it, that there was one big scholar who was one of the biggest scholars in India, and he had a question, a very high-tech kind of philosophical Sanskrit question, which nobody could answer. He'd been to many different sadhus and scholars, and no one could answer. And finally, he decided he wanted to go to Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And he came to him with this question. He started telling, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, look, I'm really sorry, but I'm really busy right now. But if you go down and speak to such and such Krishna Das or whatever, he can answer your question. Okay, he was surprised, and he had some really qualified people. And so he asked the devotees, where is this Krishna Das? Oh, he's in the kitchen. In the kitchen. Okay, he went to the kitchen. Where's Krishna? There he is washing the pots. Hey, this is the guy who's supposed to answer my question. And he went over there, and well, I have this big question. And that devotee said, look, I don't know about all these. Would you like to help me wash the pots? He's a big pundit, big man. He was a little offended by that. Okay. So he started helping wash the pots. And after washing the pots with him for 20 or 30 minutes, suddenly the answer to his question, this big question which nobody could answer, came to his mind. And later he went to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and he fell down on the ground to him and he said, now I understand this by your mercy, the answer to this question. So if we can't do service, what can we get? That's our constitutional position, is to be servants of Krishna. So we have to prove that we have some desire to serve Krishna. And if we prove that, we'll get mercy. And by that mercy, you'll be able to understand the words of Sri Guru. You'll be able to get intelligence, because otherwise, my Guru used to say sometimes, your head is just full of stool. You have no brain. So Guru will give us a brain. He'll give us some understanding what we should cry for, what we should pray for. Is that okay, Prabhuji? Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else with anything? All right. So, Tukaram Prabhu, should we stop?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
You're the IYF director, so we have to take direction from you.
Need your guidance, Prabhuji. Need your direction. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all so very much. It's a beautiful sangha. That's our purpose. We want to, not just to give some information, but we always want to try to create a sangha. Sangha of the devotees, because that sangha is what will touch our heart. It'll go deep. So thank you all very much, and I guess we'll see you next Thursday then. Srila Prabhupada ki,
Yeah.
Samadeva Bhaktavinda ki,
Yeah.
Gopremanandi Hari Hari Bo, Vanchakalpatarubhishcha, Kripa Sindhu Bhivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Nandikoti Vaishnavindra ki.
Yeah.